Maybe a little more volume. Well, good evening, everybody.
Hello.
Greetings.
Hello.
It's a big Wednesday. That means we're doing our live of Queer News Tonight, and then later we're going to do It's Happening Out.
Yes, we were off on Monday. Thank you for that day off.
Yeah.
I like that. I deserved it. I mean, yeah, thank you.
Okay.
And we have a new anchor with us tonight. Kiki is here.
Yes.
Woohoo.
She's going to psychoanalyze Faye. Very interesting.
For the, how many, 30th time?
For the 30th. Yeah.
Exactly. And Shay and Greg. Lots of news. Well, welcome to Queer News Tonight, the world's first and only LGBTQ plus daily evening news. It's time to queer up the news. It is 8 p.m. Wednesday, September 8th, 2021, and we are literally out of the closet and into the headlines. So many of your important stories we are going to tell this evening on Queer News Tonight.
This is the world's first live daily LGBTQ evening news show, literally out of the closet and into the headlines on Queer News Tonight with Al Ferguson.
Hello and thank you for joining Queer News Tonight. This is the world's first and only unedited live LGBTQ plus evening news show. Whatever happens, you will see it. Queer News Tonight is supported by viewers like you. We are part of the Happening Out television network, Hotspots Magazine, and WMEG Events. Hotspots is celebrating 36 years of the LGBTQ plus experience. And merged, we bring you the best of the LGBTQ plus news, entertainment, and support of our community.
This evening, we bring you the news of and a perspective representing that LGBTQ plus community from South Florida, America, and across our planet. I'm your anchor at Queer News Tonight, Al Ferguson, and let's welcome anchor Faye. What? She's a radio and television personality and has the popular blog and YouTube channel aiming to unite the L and the G together. She's a hostess and MC for many South Florida events, an animal advocate, and owner of Faye's Fur Family. She's also the anchor of the travel news show Happening Out Travel, and also make sure you catch her at the Faye What Show on Tuesdays at 7:30 p.m. Eastern. Good evening, Faye.
Good evening, everyone. And I want to remind everyone too, adopt, don't shop. All right. Make sure that we clear out those shelters. There's a lot of wonderful dogs out there that need good homes, and you are just the right, perfect LGBTQ person to do it. All right, so let's welcome anchor Gregg Shapiro. He's a renowned LGBTQ plus writer. Greg is the author of 7 books, 7 books, including the 2021 expanded edition of his short story collection, How to Whistle.
Yeah, he does it better.
No, I don't.
An entertainment journalist, Shapiro's celebrity interviews and reviews run in a variety of regional LGBTQ plus and mainstream publications and websites. And his screensaver movie reviews can be found in South Florida Gay News, San Francisco's Bay Area Reporter, RottenTomatoes.com, and much, much more. Welcome back, Greg.
Thanks, Faye, very much for that great intro. Hello, y'all. Let's welcome anchor Schaffer Zaret. She is a trans activist and panel speaker, as well as a hostess on the first talk show for and by the transgender community, Translation. Her values are based on service to her community in project management and coalition building. Welcome, Schaffer.
Thank you so much. It's a pleasure to be here with everyone. And let's welcome Kiki Attonito. Kiki is a nutritional mental health practitioner helping individuals to navigate the impacts that making dietary and wellness changes have on overall mental and emotional health. She holds a master's in clinical psychology and is a graduate of the prestigious Institute for Integrative Nutrition. Welcome, Kiki.
Thank you so much. Very happy to be here. See to your mental health just as importantly as your physical health at all times. They go hand in hand. We are the reporters for Queer News Tonight. And this evening, we begin with the queer headlines. The LGBTQ plus community in South Florida and across America is diverse. Our community across the world is vast. And here are the bullet points of the queer news for today, Wednesday, September 8th.
Well, let's begin by queering up entertainment. Lil Nas X just set up a Montero baby registry. And guess what? Well, on Tuesday, Lil Nas X continued celebrating the upcoming birth of his new album, Montero, with a link to a baby gift registry. People who went to welcometomontero.com/baby registry found that the gifts weren't for the rapper, but it contained a track list for the album with links for people to donate to various LGBT charity groups. Here at Queer News Tonight, we were proud and excited to see local South Florida group Trans Inclusive, as well as the sponsors of our sister show, Translation, Ariana's Center. Lil Nas X continues to push the LGBTQ+ into the spotlight, and this is another great way to support our community. We can't wait for him to give birth to Montero on September 17th.
Little Nas X can do no wrong these days. He can fart in a bottle and we're all going to buy it. You know? I mean,
on
Little
fire.
behind here, a
he
little
is on
behind
fire, right? I mean, and I love this. I love the niche. I love the games that he's playing with us. I'm like all in. And the fact that by donating and trying to get some stuff from his registry, you help all these amazing causes,
Absolutely.
including somebody after our own heart, Ariana Center. It's awesome.
Absolutely. And let's see how many babies are named Montero in 9 to 10 months, right?
Right? Exactly.
But his abs, I miss his abs.
Yeah, I have to
No.
say.
He looks good pregnant though, doesn't he?
He does.
I don't know if we can see that picture of him at almost full term, but
He's
but
hanging
there
low.
it is.
He's hanging low. It looks
Yeah.
like
Does that mean a
boy.
boy? Oh,
Yeah.
okay, boy.
He didn't gain weight in his arms or legs.
Yeah, I thought that was a goiter at first. He stepped on his stomach. I was like, ooh.
You know, I continue to say about what we're watching Lil Nas do. Well, first off, the entire LGBTQ community should be saying a collective thank you to the visibility that you have done in a completely different way in this summer of 21 with this Montero project. It's also interesting to me that, in my opinion, I continue to say we're watching a Madonna late 80s, early 90s in the LGBTQ
Yes.
community of what he is doing. Genius. We're watching genius at hand. And my favorite thing about this, when he published those pictures yesterday and the baby registry announcement, I watched the explosion that took place, which was delicious at Fox News, as Tucker Carlson,
Your favorite guy.
Sean Hannity, and Laura Ingram's heads literally exploded. They gave birth last night. Love it.
Keep it up, Little Nas X.
Keep it up.
Next, let's queer up gay culture. California lawmakers' Grindr profile blasted to his 17,000 Twitter followers. Queerty reports that Democratic California State Assembly member Evan Lowe has officially joined Grindr. The out Assembly member posted a clever screenshot of his profile for his 17,000 plus Twitter followers. He's been campaigning in support of California Governor Gavin Newsom as the state rapidly approaches the September 14th recall election. On his profile, he wrote, quote, "Hello, beautiful. I'm on here to urge you to vote no on the Republican recall. Governor Gavin Newsom has consistently stood for equality and our LGBTQ plus community. Now let us all be there for him," end quote. The photo is Lowe standing next to Newsom.
Finally, a politician that openly is out about their Grindr usage and actually shows their face and not just a torso.
I've been waiting
Or
for
a
it.
dick picture.
Exactly.
Now, I'm not on Grindr myself,
Oh, no, of course
No,
not.
no,
but
no.
is that kind of political language permitted, Al?
Yeah.
What do you mean, on Grindr?
Wait, you're not outing me.
No, but I mean, is that you allowed to take that? Really, it's not okay.
Yeah, and I think it's a wonderful thing. Think about all the people on Grindr that are going to get this news, all the LGBT, all the G.
Absolutely. This is creating a whole new platform. Potentially.
It's funny. I bet Grindr just absolutely loves this.
Yes.
Because
Yeah.
Grindr's
Oh.
had a tough 21 in various different kinds of news issues. I'm sure that they love the issue here. And one thing that I have to say for sure, Gavin Newsom's recall campaign, the election, is taking place next week. We hope for the best in terms of what the outcome is. But in contrast, to She Who Shall Not Be Named in California.
Caitlin.
Oh, that one. Caitlin. This is a really clever move to embrace the governor, increase this politician's profile, and do it in a fun, cheeky way using Grindr. It's really, really smart.
And he's going to get laid a lot.
Vote Grindr 2022.
Yeah, Grindr 2022. Excellent.
Next up, we queer up religion. Christian conservatives attack Pete and Chasten for, quote, taking these babies away from their mother, end quote. LGBTQ Nation reports that Christian conservative activists are already denouncing Pete and Chasten Buttigieg for adopting twins, expressing hatred at two men for becoming fathers. The out Secretary of Transportation and his husband announced they welcomed their two children, Penelope Rose and Joseph August, into their family this past week and posted a picture to social media. Lila Rose, a prominent anti-abortion activist, tweeted, quote, "Where are the mothers?" end quote. She's the founder of the anti-choice group Live Action and was named one of Christianity Today's 33 under 33 in 2014. Sandra McDowell, who ran for governor of Missouri last year as a Republican but lost in the primary, was one of many people online who attacked the Buttigiegs for taking a picture in a hospital bed, implying that a picture of their new family proves that they only adopted for selfish and narcissistic reasons. She wrote, quote, "Why are they both in the hospital bed like they had these babies? Photo op," end quote.
You should just read everything from now on, Greg. You are a lot. So we knew that these kooky conservatives would have a field day when they had their babies, right? But explain this to me. They don't want you to have abortions, right? So you've got to have your child. Who's going to take care of them?
Exactly, the hypocrisy.
But the hypocrisy is huge. Like the delusion is really, really huge.
Always a double standard.
Yeah.
Always.
And selfish and narcissistic reasons, that's most people having children. My God, they want their lineage to continue. Look, as someone who was adopted when I was 5 months old, my twin sister and I, going to a home with a parent that loves and cares for you is the ultimate act of just loving your child, whether you're going to raise that child or not. So I just have to scoff at the hypocrisy, like you said.
Absolutely. And Lila Rose, who is quoted in our story today, "Where are the mothers?" The mothers are the Buttigiegs, and the fathers are the Buttigiegs, and the family is the Buttigiegs.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Correct.
It is not a myopic definition of one gender or another to show love to children, which is the point that you have just beautifully made. And to Sandra McDonald, I do not know her because she's never won an election. Sandra McDonald saying it was just a photo op. You know, there's such a dramatic double standard here. How many parents are thrilled at being able to give birth to children, and they show the pictures of their babies and their hospitalization over and over and over again, and we go, that's beautiful, that's beautiful. And then two men who, by the way, one is the Secretary of Transportation
For the country.
and probably going to one day be President of the United States.
Hope so, yes.
And your comment is photo op? My goodness, Sandra, don't ever run for office because you're likely never going to win.
Loser.
Amen to that. And with that, next week, Queer Up the USA. Georgia student assaulted, dragged across floor for wearing LGBTQ Pride flag. Metro Weekly reports that a Georgia high school student faces multiple charges after attacking a classmate who was wearing a rainbow Pride flag. Video of the incident, which took place on September 2nd, shows the student at Lowndes High School in Valdosta, Georgia, running up behind the victim and pulling the flag, which was draped around their shoulders so forcibly that the victim was yanked down onto the floor. Students watched and laughed as the attacker, who has not been named, ran while still holding the flag, dragging the victim along the cafeteria floor. Another student who was seated with the victim rushed over to try and stop the attack. After struggling, the attacker took the pride flag and threw it into a nearby bin, toppling it over. The video ends as the attacker appears to strike the student who tried to intervene. Jose, a graduate of Lowndes High School, shared the video to Twitter, noting that his brother currently attends the school. They called the attack, quote, a fucking hate crime, adding, "I'm so fucking livid that that girl at the table was smiling and laughing at this kid getting assaulted, end quote.
That was a hate crime. And if you saw the video, it's disgusting, it's disturbing.
Yes.
Okay, supposedly the kid was, it was a bet. They said, oh, we bet you $5 to go rip that flag. That is BS. I'm sorry.
It's BS.
You saw the hatred and the force that he pulled that poor person down with by taking that flag? Intentionally.
And my question is, where was the security? Where is the school's security measure?
The teachers.
The teachers, exactly.
Administrators.
Who was supervising?
Probably just standing by.
Cafeteria staff.
Anybody.
Right, exactly.
Anybody.
The parents now have a lot to say about this.
No, and the other students standing by and laughing, you POSs.
Exactly.
Are you freaking seriously? I mean, you know, our kids, our LGBTQ plus kids aren't even safe and they're in schools.
Right.
Well, greetings from the land of Marjorie Taylor Greene. I mean, this
That's
is
absolutely
Georgia.
true. I'm curious, Shay, bullying, your reaction to this moment, does it create a reaction to you? And
It does. It strikes me at the core. This video represents everything as a young person that forced me to literally live a life that I knew wasn't mine.
Yeah.
Going to school and seeing these things happen every day, it doesn't desensitize you. It just makes you feel as if you don't exist and you'll never exist.
Yeah.
And so it is so important how we react to this and how we stand up for this young person and come together is critical, because I'm sure they just feel demoralized and hurt and just hated upon, which is the worst feeling.
yeah, absolutely. If to your point, if Queer News Tonight, you know, we're a national broadcast for the LGBTQ community. If we can, in any possible way, reach out to that student and say, wait, you've got allies and you've got friends, I hope
sure.
we'll try to make sure that they see the message that you just gave.
I will find that guy and kick his butt for you if you want.
And
What?
And Faye's not right. What? And Faye's not kidding. Although that would not be the right action.
No.
It would not be the right action. But one thing that we can do for sure, to your point, Lowndes County, Georgia. It's Valdosta, South Georgia, only about 25 miles north of the Florida line. To the school board of that county, to the district attorney of that county, you need to be watching this video closely, and you go public in explaining why that is not a hate crime and why it should not be prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law in your county and in your school.
Yeah.
Yes.
We're watching this closely now, and we'll report on what the outcome of what your next decisions are. It's short order in terms of time, we understand that. But we think this should be looked at very closely as a hate crime. And the entire country is sitting and waiting on Valdosta and your school system to see what you're going to say about it. We're listening and watching now.
Absolutely. So next, we queer up the world. Mob carved, quote, maricón, unquote, into gay man's buttocks in bloody attack. LGBTQ Nation reports that a 20-year-old gay man was attacked by 8 people who carved a slur on his body with a knife in a brutal attack that police are investigating as a hate crime. Police in Madrid say that the victim was walking home on Sunday at 5:15 p.m. when people, quote, with their faces covered, ran and quartered him, end quote, according to El País. The people chased him to the entrance of a building, calling him insults like shit-eater and disgusting. They threatened him with a knife and then cut his lip before carving the word maricón, faggot in Spanish, on his butt. According to the Madrid Observatory Against LGBT Phobia, there have been 103 anti-LGBTQ assaults so far this year in Madrid.
This story saddened me and reminded me of the bubble that we live in here in South Florida, in the gayest place on planet Earth, you know, and that word maricón is such a, I hate that word, okay? And in my culture, where I'm from in Colombia, it's a very common, it's like saying dude to somebody. Oye, marica, very, very common and normal. They've made that word like just like a dude, a friend, and it's derogatory, it's nasty. This hate crime is awful. And I mean, I was on the brink of tears just reading the story.
You know, and I have clients who I work overseas with clients in Madrid on Zoom, of course. And, you know, I hear wonderful things about Madrid and their LGBTQ plus, you know, community and how everything is there, their prides. And it's just heartbreaking.
Because Spain is supposed to be more progressive than so many other countries. The fact that this happened, and then that the story follows the previous one, the Georgia story, it's just terrifying. It's really not a good time right now.
And any instance where human life is devalued, where someone takes action against someone else and just disregards the fact that they're a person, that they're a human being, I think that's the saddest part about the story, just the disregard for human life. It just, like Faye said, it just saddens me to my core.
Well, you know, and it's interesting, your point is interesting. We have watched a degrading approach toward humanity over the last 4 years.
Absolutely.
And this is a result of it. The way we talk to people, the way we value people, the way we marginalize groups of people to benefit ourselves, this is what we're watching. And it's not only in America, it's going on in Europe. And that's why we're watching what's going on in Hungary and Poland.
Right.
It's the exact same thing. It is people that are holding on desperately to hold on.
Yes.
Right.
But they're losing, and their grip of this is being lost, and that's why they're having to become more extreme, like using a knife to cut into someone's butt. This word, that's what we're watching. And by the way, one thing that I have to say is, and you said this, I have to stand up for Spain and Madrid.
Right.
Spain is one of the most inclusive LGBTQ communities in Europe, and therefore de facto in the world. Madrid has one of the finest Pride events in the world. In fact, so good they were selected for World Pride. And the community is incredibly, incredibly supportive. So we can't allow Madrid and Spain to be smeared by a tiny percentage of people that hate. It's the exact same reaction that we asked for in Palm Beach County for Mar-a-Lago.
Well, that is our queer headlines for today. So let's catch up on the LGBTQ plus news surrounding COVID-19 with our special segment called Quarantine Quickies.
Queer News Tonight has reported on coronavirus on every news broadcast since January 6, 2020. Tonight we report that as of today, more than 2,885,000 LGBTQ plus Americans have contracted COVID-19.
Queer News Tonight remembers the more than 46,000 LGBTQ plus Americans that have died from coronavirus.
But the news is improving because as of today, more than 375 million vaccination doses have been administered in the United States.
Now the CDC is closely monitoring results of the fully vaccinated. The CDC calls it breakthrough infections. As of August 30th, 2021, more than 173 million people in the United States had been fully vaccinated against COVID-19.
Of those who have been fully vaccinated, only 10,471 have been hospitalized with serious infections.
The CDC reports that through August 30th, just 2,437 have died of COVID-19 breakthrough deaths after being fully vaccinated. The COVID-19 vaccines have become a historic medical miracle, and Queer News Tonight encourages you to get the vaccine. It will allow us to return to normalcy.
I can't believe that we have to tell people that we still have to remind people to get vaccinated. You know, I got my booster shot a month ago. That is how ahead of the game I want to be.
You're ahead of the game.
You know, I've been pricked more than Al Ferguson. And I can't believe that we still have to talk people into it. You know, we learned anything from 2020 was boundaries. I get it, you know, but now we've come to a point where I want to go back to freaking normal.
And they're holding it up.
And they're holding it up.
And this is what Dr. Grossman was talking about last night, too, right? The New York Times article. Yeah.
This is what you're talking about, Al, in terms of going to the other extreme. It's overcompensatory.
Yeah, it's symptomatic of a significant percentage of the American population that rejects science, that rejects experts in fields, that rejects that weather is changing in the world and carbon. And then they watch storm after storm and fire after fire. This is the exact same thing.
It's rooted in fear.
I'm asked frequently why we have done this report every single Queer News Tonight since January 6th, 2020. The first story that we did on the first episode of Queer News Tonight on January 6, 2020 was reporting that the World Health Organization was reporting on some strange new virus in Wuhan, China. It was our first story of this news show in the LGBTQ community, and we never looked back. We've reported it over and over again. And when I'm asked, why do we keep doing that? It's because a very significant percentage, unfortunately, in the LGBTQ community and our broad population don't believe in science. And this is how we get back to normal. I just want to repeat, which is so important, 173 million Americans are fully vaccinated. Of that, there has been 10,000 breakthrough infections. You can say, they got sick again, they got sick again. You can scream it to the rafters. 10,000 out of 173 million. When we're reporting 100,000 deaths, 200,000 deaths, 500,000 deaths, 2,500. While tragic, it's 2,500 deaths out of 173 million. It is a medical miracle. Get your vaccination.
Yes, get your vaccination. That is our pandemic news for tonight. Next, we report on our partnership with Sunshine Cathedral, the world's largest queer church here in Fort Lauderdale. We are broadcasting from our permanent set here at Sunshine in supporting that partnership. Happening Out Television Network broadcasts the largest LGBTQ plus religious live broadcast in the world, as more than 30,000 watch every Sunday at 10:30 a.m. Eastern. Watch this.
I'm John Buckley from Unity Coalition and Celebrate Orgullo, and Sunshine Cathedral is my queer church.
So that's today's news for the LGBTQ plus community on the world's first and only daily LGBTQ plus evening news show. Is our community important to you?
Then help us by liking and subscribing. Ring the bell for updates. Share this news with your friends and family.
Post this broadcast in the many groups you are a part of. Tonight's stories about our community deserve the attention of your family and friends.
Queer News Tonight is the only live LGBTQ plus digital television in the world that is out of the closet and into the headlines. We need your support.
If our community is to grow, we must tell our stories and bring them to the attention of the broader world. This is the only place in the world that tells these LGBTQ plus stories in motion and sound. That is the passion of Happening Out Television Network and Queer News Tonight. On behalf of these LGBTQ plus reporters, the anchors of Queer News Tonight, including Faye Watt, Gregg Shapiro, Schaffer Zaret, Kiki Attonito, we will see you daily at 8 p.m. Good night.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night.